Thinking Fast and Slow is a best-selling book by Daniel Kahneman, a Nobel laureate in economics. The book delves into the intricacies of human thought and decision-making and how our brains process information. Kahneman introduces the idea of two systems of thinking, System 1 and System 2. System 1 is fast, intuitive, and automatic. It is responsible for our immediate reactions and feelings, and it is the one that we use when we don't have to think much about what we're doing. System 2, on the other hand, is slow, deliberate, and effortful. It is the one that we use when we need to focus and solve problems. Kahneman argues that we rely on System 1 thinking more often than we think. We have a tendency to make snap judgments and rely on our intuition, even when we know that we should be using System 2 thinking. This can lead to biases and errors in our thinking. One example of this is the available heuristic, where we make judgments based on the information that is easily available to us rather than the information that is relevant. For instance, we might be more likely to believe that shark attacks are common because we've heard about them in the news, even though they are actually quite rare. Another example is anchoring, where we are influenced by the first piece of information we receive. For example, if we are asked to estimate the number of countries in Africa, we are first given the number 50 as a starting point, then our estimate will likely be higher than if we were given the number 20. Kahneman also talks about the halo effect, where our overall impressions of someone affects how we see them in different areas. For instance, if we think someone is attractive, we might also assume that they are intelligent and kind. The author also delves into the concept of framing, where the way in which information is presented can affect our decision making. For example, if a doctor tells us that a certain treatment will save 90% of patients, we might feel more positive about it than if they tell us that only will save 10% of patients. Kahneman also discusses the role of emotions in decision making and the concept of loss aversion, where we feel the pain of loss more acutely than the pleasure of gain. This can lead to irrational decisions, such as holding on to a losing stock for too long because we don't want to admit that we made a mistake. The author concludes the book by discussing how we can improve our thinking and decision making. He suggests that we should be aware of our biases and try to overcome them by taking a slower and more deliberate approach to decision making. He also recommends that we seek out diverse perspectives and that we question our assumptions. Overall, Thinking Fast and Slow is a fascinating and thought-provoking book that offers valuable insights into the way our minds work. It is a must-read for anyone interested in understanding how we make decisions and how we can improve our thinking. 1. The importance of being aware of cognitive biases. Thinking Fast and Slow highlights the various cognitive biases that can affect our decision-making, such as the availability heuristic and anchoring. By becoming aware of these biases, we can take steps to avoid them and make more rational decisions. 2. The power of intuition. The book emphasizes the role of intuition in our decision-making and how it can often be a useful tool. However, it also stresses the importance of using System 2 thinking to question our intuition and ensure that it is not leading us astray. 3. The impact of emotions on decision-making. The book also highlights the role of emotions in decision-making and how they can lead to irrational choices. Understanding this can help us to avoid being swayed by our emotions and make more logical decisions. 4. The importance of diverse perspectives. The book suggests that by seeking out diverse perspectives, we can overcome our cognitive biases and improve our decision-making. This can be done by talking to people who have different experiences or perspectives, or by being exposed to different types of information. 5. The need for self-reflection. The book encourages readers to question their assumptions and to be open to new information. It also suggests that self-reflection is important for improving our thinking and decision-making. By being more self-aware, we can identify our own biases and take steps to overcome them. In summary, the book Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman is a deep dive into the intricacies of human thought and decision-making. The author introduces the idea of two systems of thinking, System 1 and System 2. System 1 is fast, intuitive, and automatic, and System 2 is slow, deliberate, and effortful. He argues that we tend to rely on System 1 thinking more often than we think, which can lead to biases and errors in our thinking. The author also delves into various cognitive biases, such as the availability heuristic and anchoring.